Things have changed. And honestly, I gotta say, not all of it's for the best. Just a quick disclaimer in general before I start my ramble here. I have no AC in my apartment. It's currently like 80 degrees, 90 degrees, I don't know. So if you hear fans in the background, that's what's going on. I also have cats, so, they might be interfering. I don't know if they'll show up, but. So this is just gonna be kind of a ramble video because I've been wanting to come back and make videos for a couple months now, for a while now, but I've had a few big life changes and I got married. That's been such an amazing journey. I'm going to be moving again. There's a lot going on. I'm getting promotions at work. So my personal life has been really good. It's been amazing. And that's why I've taken social media breaks because, I want to focus on, building my life, starting my new life. But coming in and out of the social media aspect of I guess you can call it cosplay, the cosplay community, whatever you want to call it. I've noticed a lot of shifts. I've noticed maybe this is just me rambling because I'm a disgruntled veteran cosplayer, but I'm starting to notice that, you know, there's been a lot of, I don't know, I guess you could say changes. And this is just, I don't know, this is coming from maybe a selfish position because I started, making videos 10 years ago. Um, Obviously, I had not stuck to that very faithfully throughout the years and come in and out here and there. Started Instagram 9 years ago, and I post consistently. I try my best to. At least I'll take a few breaks here and there. But I don't know if it's. I think the community has taken a shift in terms of what we appreciate more or what comes to mind. This really, I've been wanting to talk or ramble about these things that have been on my mind for a while now, but I've, obviously been busy and I've kind of put it to the side because, you know, just, I don't know, it just feels almost petty to talk about or almost feels like, oh, doesn't really matter, haha. But the other day I saw T Stunning Spidey, the goat, the legend. He posted something about like, you know, I don't know, just not getting as much, I guess, attention or algorithm favor these days, which is insane to think because he's such an influential cosplayer, big influence to me at least. And now it almost seems like people are putting him in the past or forgetting him, or Instagram's not promoting his post, or people just don't care about his content anymore. Which couldn't be further from the truth from me because he's been a big inspiration to me. But after I saw that post, I was like, I'm starting to feel the same way almost. This is not. I don't want to be like self pity, like oh boo hoo, you're not getting 300, 400, 500 likes anymore. But in a way, maybe I am doing that. And I've kind of talked about this in the past, especially on Twitter. I just ramble on Twitter. Nothing ever I say should be taken 100% seriously on there because it's just like 3 a.m. thoughts like, oh no, things aren't what they are anymore. But honestly, they kind of aren't. And, I don't want to complain too much because I do it because I love it. I'm not trying to do it for the like. In fact, I would say I'm in a golden age of my cosplaying. I have all the suits I could ever practically dream of having, bar a couple. I'm finally, getting my wife to want to do some couples costumes. So that's been honestly a dream come true to have someone like that, my best friend in my life to share that with. Uh, I can't wait to do that. And I'm here. I am having a blast doing it, but I can't lie when I say that you know I struggle with thinking about why I should continue posting on social media about it, or should I even continue doing the YouTube thing. I've honestly thought a couple times to retire the channel entirely, just so there's no like, is he ever going to come back to it type thing. But I do love it. I do. That's the other side of it. And my friend Ethan has put it very well into words in the past. where he says something along the lines of like, obviously you do it because you love to do it. You do it because there's the passion for it, but you also love to share it. You love almost in a way the validation, but to connect with other people, to share your passions with a community. And when you don't get the same reception as you usually do, it can be a little frustrating because it's like you do put a lot of hard work and effort into the photo shoot, into the costume, into whatever it may be. Sharing that and hoping to get the same reception as you usually do, or even more, is the goal, in my opinion, of posting online. So I've been trying to defeat that mentality, but when I'm not hitting the same numbers as I used to, it's a little defeating, and especially because again, T Stunning Spidey's right. It's almost as if, hey, things are going back here, and I don't want to be, I don't want to be in the past. I have a kind of mentality of like the different generations of cosplayers. Generation one, I don't know who everyone wants to claim is Gen 1. I'm not Gen 1. To me, the people who inspired me are Gen 1 because I started cosplaying like 2013, didn't get on social media to 2015 with the YouTube channel. So to me, seeing the inspirations of Gen 1, obviously there's probably older cosplayers as well, but the social media aspect, it's T Stunning Spidey, Spidey Morpher, Spidey Fit, uh, McLean McGregor, all Spidey for Fun, all these people that I was inspired by. To me, that's Gen 1. I don't know if I want to say like I'm Gen 2. I want to maybe say Gen 1.5 because I wasn't on social media. I don't want to toot my own horn. I'm definitely probably Gen 2. But I started 2015. I, did all the YouTube videos, got on Instagram 2016. And back then, I feel like the standards of the community have changed. It's gone from, oh, pretty relaxed, you don't need a face shell, or maybe you want a face shell, or, it doesn't matter what you have. Now it's kind of like everyone needs to have a certain thing to be recognized in a certain way, if that makes any sense. Uh, I also feel maybe the thing that I always strived for, especially on Instagram, was to push innovation with my costumes. And obviously, there's way, 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 way more talented people than me out there. People who can model face shells, people who can 3D print things, people who can sew up costumes with their two own goddamn hands. And then there's me who does print costume, of course, Zentai Zone back in the day. I make my own lenses. I remember back in the day it was like, oh, you either get your lenses from print costume or you get an RPC Studio uh face shell, and that was like your only two options. And the some of the other people here and there. And I was making my own lenses. Some other people did as well, but I made my old Dico lenses, and I was trying to innovate in that way, push at least on social media, like, hey, you can do this too. You can make your own lenses. Or when I did the web wings, I was inspired by T Stunning Spidey to do that. But I was trying to push that out there as well. Be like, hey, this is how I did it. I used this and that to do that. Uh, I feel like back then it was like, oh, okay, he's doing different things. He's doing fresh ideas. And maybe my content has become stale. Maybe I've become predictable. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. But even so, when I felt I did something kind of innovative with Chasm, where I did the glow in the dark paint, and I puff painted everything, but then I got the lenses working a certain way, and it got some reception. But I feel like a couple years ago that would have been a major hit. Now it's not, and I not complaining. I'm not trying to sound whiny about it, but I feel like there's been a shift, and I'm just maybe making this to note that shift. I don't know. I've struggled long and hard with the idea of, you know, being an influencer. I'm not an influencer in any way, but I feel like some people take the cosplay gig as being an influencer. Almost like I don't want to. I don't. I'm not. I'm not trying to. I'm not gonna call anyone out. I'm not gonna say names or anything. But just noting, like, in my opinion, there's been low effort on certain things from what I've seen in the community. Like, let's just take a mirror selfie and then get like 30,000 likes from that, or I'll just do a stupid point 0.5 face, and it's just like I don't know. I guess maybe I'm envious in a way, but also I feel that the standard has lowered, and if you do try to put in the effort into what you do, it's not going to get the same recognition. And like I said, I just don't necessarily like the appeal. I feel like I've seen some opinions from around the community about certain things. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's real life, if it's political, if it's cosplay in general, and these people are put on a high pedestal just because for whatever reason, and they can do no wrong. Meanwhile, I've seen people do the same thing, which I also would disagree with certain things other people do, and then they get trashed for it, and it's like, okay, what's there's a hypocrisy going on there. But that's just me rambling. I'm not gonna go super specific because again, I'm not trying to call anyone out. I'm not trying to name names, but I just there's been a shift, and I don't necessarily vibe with it completely. But hey, who knows? I haven't been on YouTube. I've been mostly on Instagram. So maybe if I go back to doing YouTube videos, things will go better there, and then that can be shifted over to my Instagram and people can follow me there. I don't know. I'll give it a shot, but I also just again have a sour taste in my mouth from I've tried to get a couple things, I've tried to get a couple face shells this past year, and I've worked with some, some people have been really good at getting me my shell on time, and then I had someone I ordered last October and I still don't have the shell. I don't have my money back. I've tried to get both and have fallen through. I had one person just completely ignore my order for the longest time, and I guess I'm just a little burnt out and frustrated with the community is why this video is being made, and I don't know what to do about it except for just kind of do my own thing. So really this has been a venting video. It's not anything super serious. I really just kind of wanted to get it off my shoulders because I've been thinking like, okay, I want to come back and make videos. I want to do the video on this, or my 10-year anniversary is coming up for being on YouTube, and I don't want to come back with this on the back of my head and kind of be like jaded in a way. I have plans, I have ideas, there's videos I want to make, but I just didn't want to do that before getting this off my chest. And honestly, after saying this, and maybe after posting it, I'll feel different, but after saying all this stuff out loud, it does feel better. Uh, I'm not going anywhere. Um, I don't plan on retiring, at least anytime soon. Maybe when I have kids. But my cats are playing in the cat tunnel, so ignore the crinkle noises. But I'm here. I'm here to stay. Uh, and I don't know. I just I like I said, I feel like I come from a different time, and maybe that's not a bad thing. I strive to go for the older style of costumes. I try to innovate, like I said, but I've got a big resurgence of Spidey for Fun stuff. I still take inspiration from Spidey Morpher and T Stunning Spidey and all those people that I mentioned earlier. Um, and if I'm an inspiration to any of you guys, which I don't really, know who honestly would be inspired by me, but honestly, if you guys are, let me know, and that does mean the world to me because I guess that's another reason I do is to inspire. And maybe I feel like I haven't inspired anyone lately. And that's kind of a bad feeling, but again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I don't think I'm worthy of being inspirational, but I do my best. I try my hardest. And if, like I said, I have inspired any of you guys watching this, or if I do inspire you, I just want to say that thank you, first off, and just be spectacular. Be yourself. You know, I guess another point of this video is don't hold yourself to the societal norms. It's just a like at the end of the day. And maybe everything I just said contradicted what I just said there, but do it because you love it. You know, just take it from me. It is frustrating. The Instagram algorithm has changed over the years. It's pushed down other content. They've been banning people for even cosplaying as Spider-Man. Things have changed and not for the better. Like I said, do it because you love it, and hopefully things change for the better. Hopefully underrated creators not myself, but you guys, anyone out there. I've been trying to follow more people. I've been trying to like more posts because I've been pretty bad about that. You guys are the next generation. I mean, I hope things are better. I hope you enter a golden age and are recognized for the hard work and effort you put into it. And if you're just getting started, keep going. That's really all I got to say. I feel better venting that. If you think I'm a bitch for saying any of this, let me know down below. I know I feel like I'm whining a lot, but maybe it's just me being old and jaded. But with that being said, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, there's more to come.